What would you do if I told you I know about a box that contains all the guitar tones that you could ever possibly want? Anything from your super chimey clean tones all the way up to super high gain metal tones. On today's video, we're going to take a look at Ampbox from Mercuriall. There's plenty of competition and people are always making new amp sims. There are some really big hitters that everyone knows about, but in my opinion, Mercuriall has done a really great job of keeping up with the competition, and Ampbox is just another example of that. Mercuriall is constantly updating their Ampbox plugin, and it currently hosts 3 out of the 5 amp sims they have available to the public. That is the Euphoria amp sim that is based off of a Bogner Ecstasy, the U530 preamp sim which is based off of an Angle E530, and the Reaxis preamp sim which is based off of a Mesa Boogie Triaxis. Not only does Ampbox host these 3 amp sims, they also host a bunch of different effects that make it super convenient. They're all laid out over to the left of the amp sim, and it has everything from your gates, a wah pedal, different distortion pedals, overdrive pedals, delays, reverbs, graphic EQs, just anything you could need to possibly sculpt the guitar tone that you have in your head. Let's go ahead and hop into Logic and take a closer look at Mercuriall Ampbox. So I'm here in Logic and I've got 3 different channels set up. I have a clean channel that I did with my ESP, a heavy rhythm channel that I obviously did with my ESP, and then a chime channel that I did with my Jazzmaster. Let's take a look at how Ampbox can affect these different DIs, and just let me show you some of the tones really quickly. So someone who comes from using mainly the Kemper, I'm very used to presets in all of my different workflows, and as you can see right here, they have a ton of different presets for each one. So here are all the presets for Euphoria, all the different presets for the U530, and all the different presets for the Reaxis. And all 3 of these are capable of clean and heavy rhythm tones. Here's what I was talking about over to the left, all the different effects. You have a gate, a graphic EQ that goes before the amp, a wah pedal, 3 different overdrives, distortion has 2 different distortions, power amp section, cabinet, another EQ right after the amp, a chorus pedal, and a delay pedal, and a reverb pedal. Turn some of this reverb up. Yeah, sounds super cool. You can get some really cool kind of like ambient clean tones out of the effects pretty easily. Let's see, what's this sweet clean? Let's take a look at the heavy rhythm track I have. I used the Reaxis on the track I did at the beginning of the video, and I do believe I was using the 6s. The cabinet section on Ampbox is very intuitive to use. Like you see here, this is your first mic, and this will be your second mic if you engage that. You can also pull in a reverb IR, and it's got a list of different cabinets you can do, or you can do an external IR. The further out you go, that's going to do some room noise, or you can go side to side. I think it's really cool. The parametric EQ is really cool because it's almost like a FabFilter Pro Q3 in your amp sim. It's got the spectrum analyzer. That's probably one of my favorite EQs I've ever seen in an amp sim, just to be honest. Pretty much just all the presets on here are very usable. I think Mercuriall did a great job at like knocking their presets out of the park, so whenever you're going through the presets, you get a really good just kind of first-hand experience of what the amp sims are capable of. All right, let's take a look at some of the tones that I got with my Jazzmaster and see what some of the chimier tones sound like in Mercuriall Ampbox. Again, we are starting on the Creamy Blues preset. I have the overdrive off. Honestly, the clean tones are arguably just as good as, if not better than, the heavy metal tones. So yeah, that's just a quick look at some of the tones that you can get out of Mercuriall Ampbox. The clean tones, the heavy rhythm tones, the lead tones, they all sound really great in my opinion. The interface, especially with all the different effects over to the side, is super intuitive to use. I love the parametric EQ, I love the cabinet section, and it just makes it really, really easy. The workflow inside of Ampbox is great. This has been the easiest experience I've had with really tweaking my tones inside of the amp sim itself. Usually I can find a really good amp tone in pretty much any kind of amp sim that they have out nowadays, but I usually find myself tweaking outside with other plugins like, you know, FabFilter Pro Q3 or some compression or whatever. But I was able to do pretty much all of that in the box, or in the Ampbox rather, before I ever even recorded any guitars. Yeah, I love Mercuriall Ampbox. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but Ampbox is completely free whenever you purchase any of the plugins on Mercuriall's website. And if you purchase another plugin, then it will be integrated into Ampbox as well. And like I said, they're constantly updating Ampbox, so all of their plugins will be available inside of Ampbox very, very shortly. Like I said earlier, there are a ton of different competitors in the amp sim game right now, but I think Mercuriall is doing a great job of keeping up with the competition, and I'm a big fan of Ampbox. I've integrated it into my workflow, and it is something that I've used pretty regularly over the past month or so. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please do hit that like button as well as the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video.